Gather round, friends, gather round. Tonight the fire is bright, the air is calm, and I have more stories to tell. Stories of 6 very special souls. Though when they first began, they were just children or wanderers or, well, lost in one way or another. Yes, I have 6 tales, 1 thread, and though they've yet to meet as a band, the fates were already whispering in their favor. But before I get too carried away with our fire and marshmallows, there's a story of a certain red and blue dragonborn. Clever, ambitious, and just a little bit reckless in the most charming of ways. His name, well, you'll hear it soon. It's a name known to every door in Evercrest. Evercrest, the kingdom of scaled scholars and fire-eyed dreamers, perched high among the Draken peaks where the clouds themselves bow to the roar of dragons. 'Tis there our tale begins, with one such soul, a dragonborn of most curious hue. Crimson and sapphire, they called him Graeighy, a name so twisted in letters it makes a quill blush. Born of 2 great bloodlines, mind you, not of Kalizathar's brood, no, but of Volgar the Bold, whose line later mingled with the proud Grzels, a rare mix indeed. From that mingling came a strange balance, the fire of heart and calm of water. Why, I've seen him walk through a blaze and come out barely singed, and swim through the icy depths faster than a drunken dwarf chasing a gold coin. When he calls upon those elements, they don't just answer, they sing for him. Graeighy was raised among spell books and starlight, his family devoted to the arcane arts within Evercrest's crystal towers. They taught him discipline, history, and the weight of magic older than kingdoms. But even with all that splendor, all that knowledge, something stirred within him, a whisper, a yearning. He looked beyond the peaks and thought surely there must be more than this. So, with the blessing of the Dreptharos clan, the royalkin themselves, Graeighy took upon his staff, packed his scrolls and his pet mouse Heather, then strode into the wide world. His journey led him down from the clouds, through the forests and valleys, until he found himself in a city by the sea, Merhaven, a place of merchants, sailors, and secrets, where a dragonborn with flame in his veins and starlight in his eyes might just find what he's been searching for. And between you and me, dear listeners, if you ever hear a soft "Hello, princess," whispered your way, followed by the sound of someone wrestling with a very stubborn door, that's him, our Graeighy, genius of Evercrest, bane of doorknobs everywhere. Truly a mind sharp as his claws. Though not every soul is so easily measured by wit alone, some tread a quieter path, seeking purpose in the whispering winds and hidden forests. Gather round, dear listeners, and lend me your ears, though not literally. Mind you, I have no need for any more of those. This next tale is that of Faelana, an elf of noble birth and quiet heart. You wouldn't think someone born beneath chandeliers and silk would trade it all for the song of the forest, but that's exactly what she did. See, Faelana was the kind of soul that could hear a secret in the wind, who felt more at home among the trees than at dinner tables of highborn. While her kin dreamt of titles and politics, she dreamt of moss-covered stones and the call of an owl at dusk. So one day, she simply left, walked right out of the marble halls, left her gowns behind, and vanished right into the green. She lived quietly there, learned ways of the bow, the whisper of the leaves, the patience of the hunt. For a while she found peace. Real peace. The kind nobles write about but never touch. But peace, that's a fragile thing, isn't it? From the north came a tyrant, cruel and clever. A man who saw thrones not as symbols of duty, but as prizes ready to be taken. He swept through her homeland like a fire through dry grass. Her people, gentle and kind, couldn't stand against his iron rule. Those who tried were silenced. And soon, even the forests grew quiet. Now Faelana could have stayed hidden. Many did. But she couldn't stand idle and watch her home be withered away. So she fled. Not out of fear, but out of purpose. To seek help. Across the border she went, following rumor and wind alike, until fate guided her to the great coastal city of Merhaven. But don't let her quiet voice fool you. There's a steel beneath that softness. the sort of courage that doesn't roar, but endures. She may speak little, but when she knocks an arrow, even the wind holds its breath. So if you ever find yourself walking through Merhaven's market and catch a glimpse of a cloaked elf with eyes like morning dew, don't stare. Don't speak too loud. Just nod. Give a kind smile and know that you've seen one of the last lights of a fading home, still burning bright. Yet not all lights shine so gently, my friends. Some flicker and dart quick and clever, leaving you wondering where they've gone before you can even catch a glimpse. Gather round, friends, for this next tale is one of cunning, cleverness, and a touch of mischief. The story of Duntow, a dragonborn who moves like a shadow and smiles like a coin slipping through your fingers. Duntow's life did not begin with riches or comfort, oh no. From a tender age, he was left to the world alone, an orphan who had to learn quickly how to survive. And survive he did, through nimble feet, quick fingers, and wits sharper than a thief's dagger. Why, I've heard he could pick a pocket faster than a blink. But don't go checking your own purse just yet. I'm not pointing fingers. But even the cleverest of rogues can find themselves in trouble. And trouble is exactly what Duntow found when the city watch of Merhaven caught up with him. Oh, the clamor, the shouts, the gnomes and humans and dragonborn alike calling for justice. It could have ended badly for him, if not for a wise and rather patient gnome. Ah, Varus, elderly, sharp-eyed, and full of patience. He saw more than a mischievous rogue in Duntow. He saw potential. So he paid what needed to be paid to keep Duntow out of jail, and, even better, took him under his wing. From that day on, Duntow had a teacher, a guide, and yes, a friend who could show him the ways of a proper rogue, how to move unseen, how to listen before acting, and most importantly, how to make a living without losing one's head. Under Varus's watchful eye, Duntow thrived. He became one of Saltclaw Smuggler's most reliable agents. Trusted in every alley, every shadowed corner, every backroom deal. And though he had no family of his own, he had found something just as good. A mentor, a partner in craft, and the life that let him do what he did best. Stay clever, stay unseen, and stay free. So if you wander through the streets of Merhaven and feel a shadow pass by just a little too quickly, or catch the glint of eyes that have seen far more than they should, well, that might just be Duntow. Watching, waiting, and always one step ahead. It's funny how the world needs both shadow and light. One to watch unseen, the other to stand tall for those to see. And few shine brighter or fly higher than this next one. So gather round, friends, and listen, for the next tale is one of wings, valor, and, well, a most unusual name. Yes, I said it. OnTanda. Don't let the name fool you. Oh no, for beneath those feathers beats the heart of a true and noble warrior. Long ago, long before even the oldest dragons were scratching the skies, there lived a humble fisherman on the edge of a quiet village. A simple life, he thought, tending nets and waiting for the tides. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. One day, a being of radiant light, wounded and chased by terrible creatures from the underworld, fell near his little home. And would you believe it? Our fisherman, with a heart bigger than the ocean itself, nursed the poor thing back to health. In time, they became companions, and the being taught him the ways of protection, of justice, and of standing against the darkness. From that day forward, our fisherman forged his own armor, trained in the arts of combat, and became a warrior of the light. He roamed far and wide, defending villages and strangers alike from those who wished harm. He was content, until tragedy struck, as it so often does in stories such as this. The one he loved was taken from him, returned to her own realm, leaving him lost, sorrowful and wandering. But all was not lost, for she from her place between the plains returned to him once more. She offered him a gift, to rise again a chosen warrior, a protector who would return whenever evil threatened the world. And rise he did, though reborn in a new form. He remembered all that came before. Now he walks among us in Merhaven, one of the last of his kind, an Aarakocra, a living echo of the people long gone from this world. And yes, he may have a name that brings a chuckle or two, but mark my words, beneath that whimsical moniker is a paladin whose wings and heart are poised to strike against the darkness wherever it dares to rise. So, my friends, should you glimpse a shadow in the wind, a feathered shape moving faster than your eye can follow, don't be fooled. That's OnTanda, the last of his kind, watching, waiting, and ready to defend us all. And as the wind stills and his wings fade into the horizon, our gaze turns downward, from the open sky to the endless deep. For where one hero soars above, another stirs below, in the ever-shifting tides of fate. Gather round, friends, gather round, for this next tale is a deep one, quite literally. Now you may think you know the sea. Oh, but the sea has many secrets. Yes, plenty of them. And so does this story. Our hero, or perhaps anti-hero, depending on how you look at it, goes by the name of Zalem. Z-A-L-E-M. Say it slowly now. It rolls off the tongue, like waves on a quiet night, or like a fish that got away. Zalem was born far beneath the waves, in a city hidden from prying eyes, a city called Undercurrent. Not the fancy spires, oh no, those belong to the rich, shiny folk. Zalem grew up in the Drowned Quarter, a rough and tumble place where the water's dark, the streets are crowded, and you learn early that survival is, well, a full-time job. His family, though humble, were good folk. His mother, a seamstress, could weave seaweed and shells, and the tapestry so beautiful you could almost forgive the smell of brine. And his father, he was a fisherman, brave enough to face dangerous waters just to bring home dinner. Most days, anyway. Life wasn't easy, oh no, but the family had heart, and Zalem learned early what it meant to care for those you love. Now don't think our Zalem was content with fish cuts and odd jobs forever. No. The stormbound one had dreams. Dreams of a world beyond the waves, of purpose bigger than the tide. He'd watch his parents struggle and think, there has to be a way to do better, to do more, and maybe, just maybe, there was a world above, where gold sparkles in the sun and adventure waits for those daring enough to take the leap. So one day, with a sea glass pendant from his mother and his father's old fishing spear tucked safely at his side, Zalem left the Drowned Quarter, said goodbye to the only home he'd ever known, and ventured into the strange, unfamiliar surface world. Strange creatures walked on land instead of swimming. Strange air filled his lungs. Oh, it was quite the adjustment, but a promise of opportunity, and perhaps a bit of trouble too. It called him forward. But there was something about Zalem, and I must tell you in whispers. Yes, whispers. There's more to him than just a brave water genasi seeking fortune. Oh yes, there are whispers of shadows, of a power lurking just beneath the surface. A mysterious patron he serves. But that, my friends, that is a tale for another night. For now, know this. Zalem walks the world above the waves, a stranger in a strange land. Driven by heart, duty, and perhaps a little curiosity. Keep an eye out for him, or if you see a flicker of blue in the water, a ripple in the tide, well, that just might be Zalem, moving between the worlds, chasing adventure, and leaving the Drowned Quarter behind, for now. Now this next one, friends, it's a sad tale. It's one of those ones that make you hold your mug a little tighter by the fire, and maybe, just maybe, think a little more about the people you love. This is the story of Atet Moonriver. A strong name, but the boy who carried it was just once, well, a boy. A normal boy living a quiet, simple life in a village you might just pass by without even noticing. But life has a way of changing things, doesn't it? One day a tyrant came to his village. Oh yes, a terrible one, with cruel hands and darker intentions. Maybe I spoke of this one before. His family gone, slain, and little Atet left alone in a world that suddenly seemed too large and too empty. But fate, dear friends, sometimes has a softer hand. A monk living high in the mountains of tranquility found him, took him in, taught him the ways of balance, discipline, and survival. Not just with fists or weapons, no, but with the mind, spirit, and heart. So Atet grew, learning to walk a path that demanded serenity, yet required strength. And as he became a man, he found love. A kind woman who brought warmth to his life, and together they had a child. Life, it seemed, had given him a second chance, and for a while, it was enough. But the world has a cruel sense of humor, doesn't it? Upon returning home one day, Atet found his family gone, his home destroyed by bandits, whisked away to places far beyond his reach. Seeking guidance, he returned to the monastery. The monks offered what they could: advice, wisdom, prayers, but only so much. And so, Atet set out, driven by a fire only few could see. He tracked the bandits and confronted them with a power that was not often seen in a man trained for peace. His fury, controlled but devastating. Still, the trail led him further, across the lands to the country of Thalaria, until he reached the coastal city of Merhaven. He arrived on a day of festivity, a festival full of laughter, music, and color, but he carried a quiet storm of a monk on a mission, a man who would stop at nothing to find his family, to bring them home, or to honor them in the pursuit. And such is the way of Atet Moonripper, a heart tempered by loss, guided by discipline, and burning with the resolve that even the cruelest of fates couldn't extinguish. So, my friends, our fireside tales have drawn to a close for tonight. We've wandered the skies and seas, tiptoed through shadows, and felt the weight of hearts both light and heavy. Each story, each thread, each hero, a spark. And well, when you put them all together, it makes quite the tapestry, doesn't it? Yes, those 6 souls, so different, so bold, so full of mystery and mischief. They've crossed paths and left their marks on this world. And while I may never write it in a royal decree or carve it into stone, I can say this with certainty. The bards yet to come will speak of them as something, well, something special. Yes, some might even call them the Special Six. So rest your ears, rest your hearts, and keep your eyes open, friends, for their stories are far from finished, and who knows what tomorrow's fireside chat might reveal.